My office is feeling a lot more claustrophobic than normal, but you'll find out why later in the video. Aho. Welcome back to another episode of Shanclen Shadow Productions. Yes, but without further ado, be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content here at Shanclen Shadow Productions. Now, as Halloween has passed, for us here at Shanclen Shadow Productions, we are spooky year-round. Yes, because we are one with the spiritual world, spiritual understanding, and spirituality doesn't stop once October ends. Now, for here, in this video, we're going to go ahead and jump in to a couple more videos. Yes. Viewer-submitted stories. Let's start out with the first one. Aho. Hello, Shanclen. Wish you many blessings, love, and good health. I'm 24 years old and originally from Venezuela. I moved to the United States in 2016. The story I want to share happened in 2018. At the time, my parents were going through a messy divorce. My father involved me when he shouldn't have, and I found myself caught in the middle of everything. In my country, like in many others, witchcraft is known as Brujeria. It came to be used both for good and bad purposes, for protection or for harm. My father was convinced that someone on my mother's side of the family was using Brujeria against us out of envy. But as it turned out, it wasn't my mother's side at all. It was one of my father's relatives. Someone still living in our home country, wasting away in my grandparents' old house. This relative had no job, no purpose, and was deep in alcoholism, and had been known to practice Brujeria since he was young. After all the family drama, I decided to visit a witch/medium who offered to perform a limpia, sorry if I said that wrong, or cleansing on me. I had to use the egg method, which includes gently rubbing an egg all over your body so it can absorb any negative energy. I had bought a fresh carton of 6 eggs around 8 a.m., did the cleansing in my home at 9 a.m., and went to the witch's place by 11 a.m., so the eggs were definitely fresh. Keep this in mind. When the witch began chanting and praying, I was trembling with fear. We had wrapped the egg I used for the cleanse in aluminum foil with herbs, holy water, and other sacred elements. I was holding the wrapped egg as the chanting continued, when it suddenly began to smoke and burn. The heat grew so intense it burned my hands until I had to drop it. When the witch opened the foil, everything inside had turned to ashes, except for the egg. The egg was charred but still whole. That's when things took a dark turn. The witch cracked the egg open, and instead of a normal yolk or egg white, there was only blood and 3 large, fully formed maggots, alive and moving. Let me emphasize, I had only bought those eggs about 5 hours earlier. There is no way maggots could have developed that fast. The image I found later online looked very similar, though I didn't take a photo myself, something I now regret. The results of the cleansing revealed that there was a dead spirit attached to me, dragging me down, making me miserable, and trying to take either my life or my mother's. Exactly 1 month later, I was in a car accident that I somehow survived. That relative of my father's, once someone I loved and trusted deeply, wanted me dead. Now he's the one who's spiritually dead while still living, trapped in the misery and loneliness he created for himself. Yeah. Now that picture is pretty wild too. Now I've seen this technique used a couple different times when we were guests to another, I guess you could say exorcism ceremony too, but it is pretty wild what those ceremonies can be able to do when they harvest evil like this, when they kind of take it out of the body. Now, there's different versions of this when it comes to using the egg or kind of like a cleansing like this, but it's a certain tool that is used. And we have a certain form of it too in some of our ceremonies, but most of the time what we use instead of eggs is a certain type of crystal that we have that's used specifically for this type of ceremony and found in a very specific way and has to be cleansed out and cleaned out to be able to be used for that specific purpose. Now, first off, I just want to say thank you so much for submitting this story. Very, very creepy indeed. I feel like that's too high. Very creepy indeed. So thank you so much for submitting this. I'm glad you're okay. Sorry about the car accident, but I hope it didn't leave any permanent damage to you. And so yeah, sometimes it will be family members that go and witch you. Just kind of like how I was talking about the Witchcraft video that I made a couple weeks ago. Maybe it's a month. A little while ago, but I did Navajo Witchcraft. And I had touched on this subject a little bit to where jealousy goes a long way. And it kind of happens in every single culture, every single race and religion on this Mother Earth. It's just a trait of human beings that we have. So, yeah, sucks, but, you know, not 100% surprised when family members do that to you as well. So 100% glad you're okay. Thank you for submitting this story. And that picture is pretty wild. So yeah, I kind of want to go back and see something like that again, because those are honestly really cool. And it just kind of reminds me of the movie La Llorona too as well. So that was pretty wild. But for it to actually catch fire in your hands too, that's a whole nother level of witching right there. So 100% glad you're okay. Let's go ahead and hop in to the next story. Oh. Hello, Shanclen. I'd like to share a summary of the countless strange and frightening events I experienced while living in a particular home in Santiago, Chile. I'm grateful that you give people the space to tell their stories on your channel. When I was 3 years old, my parents and I moved into a house just 1 block away from my parents, just 1 block away from my grandparents. From the very beginning, according to my mother, I refused to leave her arms, crying that there were bad ducks on the floor. I don't remember that part, but strange things happened there for as long as I can remember. One of my earliest memories is from when I was about 7. My sister and I shared a tiny room, so small we couldn't even close the door completely. I hated sleeping with it open, terrified of the dark hallway. One early morning, just as the sun was rising, I heard someone whispered my name. The voice sounded soft and familiar, but when I checked the hallway, nobody was there. I ran back to the bed and hid under the covers. From that point on, most of my memories in that house were unsettling. I could never sleep peacefully and plagued by nightmares, sleep paralysis, and strange occurrences. Maybe I've always been sensitive, but I've also noticed that spiritual activity in Chile feels particularly strong. Things got worse after we renovated the house and added a second floor. My sister and I got separate rooms, and for the first time, I slept with the door closed, but I didn't expect what would come next. The activity escalated. We used to joke that the spirit of the previous owner didn't like the renovations. Whenever my sister and I made too much noise, the TV, computer, or music would suddenly shut off. One night, while sleeping beside my mother, I woke up at 3 a.m. to see a silhouette of a gray-haired man standing next to her. He vanished after a few seconds. I didn't feel scared at the time, but I never told anyone. Later, my sister came inside after playing on the swing and asked who the gray-haired man in the house was. And when I asked her to describe him, she gave the exact description: short hair, sleeveless vest, pale skin, and light eyes. We assumed it was a deceased former owner of the house. We weren't too frightened and even contacted a witch who confirmed the same description and performed a cleansing. Unfortunately, what followed was much worse. Around that same time, my father began coming home late. I eventually discovered he was having an affair. The atmosphere in the house turned darker and more aggressive. The tension, combined with the bullying I was experiencing at school, seemed to fuel the paranormal activity. The nightmares and sleep paralysis became constant. I often felt like I was being watched, and the shadow that lingered at my door began to take shape of a young girl. She would stand there, silently watching me. I had to learn to sleep with her presence. At night, we heard chains dragging, whispering voices, and sometimes the smell of cigarette smoke would fill the bathroom. Even though no one was in the house smoked, I often saw shadows, but tried to ignore them, convincing myself they were tricks of the light. until my younger sister burst into tears after seeing one herself. That's when I realized I wasn't imagining things. Visitors also experienced strange occurrences. Our housekeeper once said that she saw someone hiding in the pantry and felt cold gusts coming from the closed cabinets. Guests claimed to see a little girl who didn't belong into our family. Even next door, where my grandparents ran a gas cylinder business, odd things happened. Rabbit-like figures darting in between the cylinders, silhouettes of people moving when no one was there. During sleep paralysis, I saw horrifying figures, goblin-like beings pressing down on me, shadow creatures I couldn't describe, and always the girl by the door. One day, I fell down the stairs after one of the steps seemed to vanish beneath me. I injured my spine and had to sit on a cushion at school for the rest of the year. We called the witch again, and later a priest. Both said the house's energy was too strong that it would need ongoing cleansings. The priest told us to call him again after his first visit. By then, my parents had separated and my father had moved into his childhood home, but the activity only intensified. One night, a loud crash woke us up. The old TV in my sister's room had fallen to the floor. She said she woke up to see a goat-headed figure standing by her bed. The TV had turned on by itself, showing only static before it fell. A few days later, she ran out of her room crying, saying she saw herself smiling in the mirror, even though she wasn't. She kept repeating, "There's something behind me." We couldn't see anything, but she swore it was there. Not long after, a gypsy woman approached me in the street and said, "Someone threw cemetery dirt on your house." We later consulted another witch who somehow knew personal details she couldn't have guessed, including that my father would end up divorced and bankrupt. In Chile, belief in witchcraft is widespread, a hidden subculture that many, especially women, take seriously even if others dismiss it. Years later, I moved to southern Chile for university. Strange things still happened, but I must have just been more sensitive by then. Shadows, nightmares, and waking up at 3:30 a.m. had become normal for me. When I returned home for the holidays, the energy in the house always felt different. Heavier, darker. My sister sometimes visited my father and met his girlfriend's family, humble people from the south. She said the mother had a cat-like eyes and an eerie ability to appear suddenly in different places. The energy around her was unsettling. Eventually, I moved to Australia. The paranormal activity in my life decreased dramatically, which almost felt strange in itself. For the first time, I didn't feel constantly watched. Years passed. My father did, in fact, go bankrupt. My mother and sister continued living in that house until, due to financial troubles and failed property transfer, the bank repossessed it. My grandparents retired and my family had to move, though they were strangely attached to that place. When the eviction notice finally came, my mother fell into a deep unnatural depression. I contacted a Mapuche spiritual healer, sorry if I said that wrong, who performed a ritual of detachment using scissors and drums. She said there was at least 3 open portals in my house, including one in the gas cylinder shop. Shortly after, my father's girlfriend's mother, the one who I always felt uneasy around, passed away. After that, things slowly began to improve. My mother moved, my sister found stability, and my grandparents settled into retirement. I'm still in Australia, and though I occasionally sense strange things, nothing has ever matched what we lived through in that house. I still have nightmares and sometimes wake up at 3:30 a.m., but that house, thank God, is no longer ours. When I visit Chile, I sometimes walk past it. Even now, I get chills. I didn't go into full detail about my father's girlfriend's family, but we believe her mother was a witch who brought great harm to us. There was always tension between her and our family, and she only appeared in my father's life after the financial situation improved. I hope this story makes sense, and it spans many years and countless events. Thank you for letting me share it. Yee. Well, there's a lot to process that. Let's go ahead and get to it. First off, I'd like to say thank you for submitting this video to Shanclen Shadow Productions and to these amazing viewers that we have here. So everybody, go ahead and thank these 2 viewer-submitted viewers in the comments, because yes, it does take a lot to be able to share stories like these. Now, For me, I've never been to Chile, but I have heard stories like yours. And if it's anything like how Navajo Nations is, witching and jealousy is a thing, just like how the first story is too. And I'm not going to be able to say 100% that your father's new girlfriend's mother was a witch. That's going to be something you decide. But based off your description, it does kind of narrow and point to that. Unfortunately, sorry to hear about your parents splitting up. I know a thing or two about that. So, yes, going through something like that, going through bullying, going through hard times like that can bring darker spirits to you. Kind of like how I mentioned in How to Protect Yourself videos and all my other videos, countless prior. When you create, not so much create, but when you're in a negative environment such as that, sometimes bad things do happen and come along. They want to pick on you. They want to harvest some of that energy. Sounds like so much so that they actually ended up opening a portal inside your house and your grandparents' workplace too, to where they can kind of travel around, and who knows where those portals went to. But whenever it comes to something like that, it's a very, very old sacred ceremony that is used to be able to close up portals like that. And you have to be very powerful to be able to know how to do that. Otherwise, you're just going to have to be like how that priest said, you got to keep coming back for cleansings if you don't know how to close up those portals like that. So, yeah, it gets pretty wild when you think about it. But 100% glad that you found a new life in Australia. Praying for your mother and your family out there and your grandparents out there too as well. Many blessings to them. And, you know, when you kind of live in a house like that, attachments can grow, especially if you live in there for a long period of time. And whenever it comes to having a haunted house like that, I live in the same town currently where my old haunted house is, and I drive by it and I'm just like, fuck you. Yeah, just kidding, no. But yes. But yeah, so you have those memories, and kind of like how you said, you experience and you go through a lot of stuff like that. Your body gets attuned to seeing and sensing spiritual things. And so probably on your journeys and your travels, either, I'm not 100% sure anything followed you, but if it did, and it went to Australia, and it probably hopped back on the plane and went back to Chile, because yeah, Australia's got some crazy big spiders. So if I was ghost, I wouldn't want to be there either. Because you gotta hide in the house where the big spiders are, and I'm pretty sure that ghost didn't like those big spiders. I'm just kidding. Much love to everybody in Australia. Land down under. You guys go through a lot. I'm praying for you all. But yeah, thank you so much for submitting this video, and 100% glad that you're doing a lot better now. Praying, like I said, for you and your family, and thank you so much for submitting this video. Many blessings to you. All right, everybody, like I said in my intro, this room is feeling pretty cramped right now. Why, do you may ask? Well, while I was on my journeys this past couple week and 2 weeks, I have been on a venture to be able to find a producer, a printer, a master of the photography printing arts, and I have found such person over near Flagstaff, Arizona, at a place called Tom Alexander's Photography. Now, Tom, when I went over there, I went to go see him, and he was able and so kindly enough to be able to give me some sample prints. Now, this right here is one of my photos that I have taken. No, just kidding. Yeah. So this is a really cool photo that I took recently over at one of our sacred mountains in Flagstaff, Arizona. So he gave me this print right here as well. But not only just that one, but one more giant print. So one of you lucky viewers out there actually made a purchase of one of my photos. So I went to go film out the whole process of him creating that whole process of printing a photo. And I do have to say that one's going to be coming out on my second channel here very soon. So he was so generous enough to print me another one because I loved it so much. He printed me another one just for me. So this one is huge. This is Shanclen. This thing is massive, and the customer got one exactly like it, and theirs is signed by me. But yeah, this is another one of the photos I took over in Flagstaff, Arizona. So over at our Sacred Mountain, and I have a lot more photos. And so I am now announcing here on Shanclen Shadow Productions that I am selling prints of my photography now. So if you guys haven't yet, go follow me at Shanclen. Oh gosh, here we go. Clen_Shadowlodge_SSP Instagram page. All those photos that are on that page are for sale. Now, when it comes to pricing, depends on how big you want it. But when it comes to this stuff, the prints, the quality of paper, there's different types of paper. You can do canvas if you want to do like a painting. I have water paper if you want to do that one. Or my personal favorite, which one that was printed on that, the satin. There's also other different kinds of papers out there too. He does metal prints as well. So yeah, if you guys are interested, I will have pricing. Just send me a DM on there. And if you guys don't have Instagram, you guys can go ahead and email me. I can go ahead and send you guys sample photos of what I have. And if you guys would like to make an order, let's run it. I can go ahead and get these printed out over at Tom Alexander's Photography. Have them signed up, get them mailed out to you. So this one right here is that print that's right there. So this is going out to that lucky viewer, special viewer out there that made the very first purchase of my prints out there too. So many blessings and thank you so much for purchasing one of my prints here at Shanclen Shadow Productions and Shanclen Shadow Lodge. So yeah, go follow me on my second page, everybody. It's gonna be a lot of cool content coming up there as well. So yeah, and then as far as for this channel, we're back on normal schedule. Halloween is over, but like I said, we're going year round with paranormal stuff here at Shanclen Shadow Productions. So the scares and the horror never stop. Yes, a lot of cool, amazing and content, videos, amazing things are coming your guys' way. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe. If you guys are enjoying this content, again, thank you so much to the viewers that submitted these two stories. Many blessings to you both, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Hope you all have a good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Hook on it! My back cramped up. I did pull day today, so my back cramped up trying to hold that thing up. That thing is huge. But when I got that printed out, it's like when you get the plastic cover off and you get it in a frame, this thing looks freaking amazing. And it felt so surreal for me to see my photos in such great quality printed out. Like, let me tell you, Tom Alexander's Photography, he went to school for this. Like, he knows the type of paper, the type of inks, everything that goes with this. So it blends so perfectly, and I can't wait to get this hung up. You know, one of my first two prints, put it out here, and you know, I'm excited. I got really great photos. Went to Antelope Canyon recently, so posting those photos up on my second Instagram page now. So guys, go check that out. If you guys are interested, send me a DM. All proceeds go back into the channel and help and grow. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.